Hi, how you going? It is, of course, me, Rhys T O'Leary of perpelFLAME and Company. That's right, perpelFLAME. And you are joining me here for a very interesting video. So, there's just been reports that have come in regards to some really severe tornadoes that have ripped through. I'm getting chills all over my body. Some really severe tornadoes that have come into America. Now, if you remember correctly, if you don't, go back on this page. I posted some videos. I also posted them on the YouTube channel in regards to a tornado dream that I recently had just before Ex-Cyclone Alfred hit. Now, what was really fascinating about this dream is that, for starters, it had my assistant and it had my assistant's partner in it and me. And we were running around, and I said this to several people. It looked like, oh, my knee. Oh. What is this knee pain I've been getting recently? This is new. Okay, so in this dream recently, mother hungulo. Okay, so in this dream that I had, it didn't look like my assistant's property. They live on like a sloped property on the side of a mountain. This looked like flat land, and it looked like your atypical American farmhouses, right? And I remember I said to a couple of people over the phone, and I believe I said it in my videos, it looked like Kansas City, right? And in the dream, I literally was screaming, "Batten down the hatches," which, as you may recall, I reported all over social media and all over the news for Ex-Cyclone Alfred was that phraseology, which was very, 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 very interesting. I'm getting out my cards for this because we're going to do a reading, because we need to do some investigation. Why are these connected? Why are these two events connected? Why was Ex-Cyclone Alfred connected in this dream? You know, why did I see my assistant? And I remember in the dream I also said we need to pay attention to that one there, because there was like 5 tornadoes blowing about, and there was one really, really, really big one in the dream. And I was like, we need to pay attention to that one. Now, what's interesting is we've just had, of course, Ex-Cyclone Alfred hit southeast Queensland, right? Now, there's lots of speculation and lots of, fervent discussion from many different people about, whether it's climate change, whether it's this, whether it's that, whether it's, modification of weather. What is it? Let me just count these cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. So, as soon as I saw this, I'm going to read an article, and the exact place that I saw in my dream has been hit with these tornadoes. I'll read to you this article. I'm going to post these articles in the comment section of this video. Severe thunderstorms to roll through the southeast with tornadoes, damaging winds, gusts, and flooding. The southeast will be in the crosshairs of potentially strong tornadoes, widespread damaging winds, large hail, and flash flooding as a tornado outbreak roars eastward. Take this threat seriously and know ahead of time where your safe shelter is, and that you have multiple ways of receiving warnings, especially since severe storms could threaten at night in some locations. This is day 2 of the ongoing tornado outbreak. Numerous tornadoes touched down on Friday in the early Saturday in the Mid-South and Midwest, including several near St. Louis, a damaging tornado in Rolla, and one in Hartville, Missouri. Now, what's really interesting is Kansas City. If you're not familiar with the geography landscape of the USA, Kansas City is in Missouri. Right. So, tornadoes touched down near Grace, Mississippi, and Elliott, Mississippi. Is it Mississippi or Missouri? Where are we? Let me look on Google Maps again. Yeah, Missouri. Along with several others that touched down in northern parts of the state. Early afternoon, a strong, potentially violent tornado began near Kentwood, Louisiana, and quickly moved northeastward into Mississippi, near Tylertown and Salem. Several other tornadoes have been confirmed in southern and eastern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and middle and eastern Tennessee. Why is this connected to Ex-Cyclone Alfred? I'm curious. I'm going to do a reading on it. We're going to find out. We're going to see what Spirit has for some answers for us. I need to just count this last deck of cards. There's obviously a connection there because, again, my assistant doesn't live in the USA. I definitely saw these tornadoes in my dream. It was very interesting for me to see. It was very interesting for me to observe this. I've never been in a tornado. I obviously know what a tornado looks like, but it was very interesting. So let me ask the cards. First of all, is there a connection between Ex-Cyclone Alfred and the current storms and tornadoes in the Midwest of America? You know what's really interesting geopolitically about these two places? They're both considered to be places where people are considered, conservative's the wrong word, but they're in America, they're usually what's considered to be red states. You know, they're people who are religious, people call them rednecks, right? It's the Midwest. It's very, cowboy land. Queensland and southeast Queensland is very much considered to be the same here in Australia. And it's just interesting that these two areas have been hit around the same time. Why are they connected? It's also very interesting. I'm just going to play this clip from Sky News, which I will also post in the comment section below. This is how I was alerted to this an hour ago.
Large and violent tornadoes tore through parts of the US, killing at least 17 people. Many communities are on edge as they prepare for a second round of severe storms.
Oh my God!
So, that's very sad, first of all. So, sending unconditional love out to those areas of the world. Projecting our love and protection to those who require it. But what is happening with our weather systems? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornado systems, and what should we know from this? Now, what's really interesting is my social media is being suppressed in the algorithm. What's also very interesting is that there really is a lot going on to do with me being watched. Right? I was asking some very interesting questions recently. And we were asking some interesting questions surrounding geopolitics. Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to the storm system and tornadoes in America, and what should we know about this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes in America, and what should we know from this? These cards are drawing out interesting information. What is trying to be prevented? I'm very fascinated. Last deck. Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes, and what do we need to know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes, and what do we need to know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes, and what do we need to know from this? Is Ex-Cyclone Alfred related to these tornadoes, and what do we need to know from this? If anyone does know anyone in America or the US, tag them in these videos. Give this video a reaction, and be sure to share this video as well so that we can get the algorithm pumping this over to our friends in the US. Before we get started, I'm just going to share across these links. Oh, what's going on? I'm just going to share these links onto the post so that you can see what I'm looking at as well. The internet is doing strange things today. The algorithm's doing strange things. The videos that have been pumped into my algorithm today. Sirens. Interesting. I'm just posting these links, and then we'll get started. You should see what the computer's doing. There's one. Here is another. All right. And I'm just going to share this video very quickly across to a couple of places so that people can follow along. The cards that are coming up are very, very interesting. I'm not going to read them in any particular order. Okay. Almost ready for you. One moment. Oh, the algorithm. Alright. So, the first card that I pulled was the Judgment card. The Judgment card says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. Immediately what's coming off of this card, first of all, the thing I notice first is that this is a blue card, right? It's a bluey purpley card. But look, just to give you an idea of these cards, they're not all circular, right? They're not all. They look different, each and every single one of them. So what's very fascinating is that what's coming through on this card and from this card is that in these particular areas, right, of the world, so let's look at Southeast Queensland and also the Midwest, people have very strong opinions. People are very opinionated. People have very, they've got a lot of judgment when it comes to how they live their life, how they want to live their life, and how they expect to be able to live their life, right? So the card again says, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. What I find fascinating about the Judgment card as well is that there seems to be some sort of shift attached to this, as in wanting to shift people, needing to shift people out of one space into another space. It's like playing a game of chess almost. It's like, if I make this move over here and it puts you over here, how do we get you into this position over here? And this seems to be calculated. This seems to be calculated. Both events seem to be calculated in some way, shape, or form. The next card I pulled was the Self-Esteem card. The Self-Esteem card says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Interesting. This has something to do with higher levels of consciousness as well. And this has something to do with raising consciousness in a weird kind of way. I don't know. I haven't been up to Southeast Queensland as of yet. I will be there very shortly, and I will be able to assess for myself and see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears what the kind of resonant energy is of the people that are up there. I always like to go there for myself and experience and feel and hear. I won't be able to obviously get over to the Midwest in America, but I will be reaching out after this video to people I do know in Midwest America to find out what the general kind of vibe is over there at the moment. There's been a lot of politicization ever since Donald Trump came back into power over in the Midwest, and I would hazard a guess that another thing that I just keep seeing this interconnectedness between the tornadoes and Ex-Cyclone Alfred, right? Very, very connected in some way, that when people aren't quite paying attention to, that people aren't quite making note of, right? And I think that the idea of the storms and the idea of these events is to cause, not to ruffle feathers, but to cause a shake-up. It's a designated shake-up. The word designated comes through very strong. The next card I pulled was the Grief card, which says, in alignment, and it says, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. So there was some sort of grip hold in both of these places. These two places have a connection, and people need to pay attention to these two places for a reason. You know, it's very interesting. It's a very big storm cell that's over in the Midwest at the moment, you know, and it was a very big storm cell that was here on the southeast coast, in southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales. Very big storm cell. Very, very, very large storm cell. What is it that people are needing to pay attention to see? What is it that people are actually not paying attention to enough? Interesting. The health card, out of alignment, comes up, and it says, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Now, again, I can't speak on these areas, and what I do know about Southeast Queensland, which is very interesting, and northern New South Wales, is these are areas where people are, I mean, don't take offense to this, anyone in these regions, but there's a lot of yuppies, right? There's a lot of people that are really into the kind of health and well-being and the new age and all that kind of stuff. In the Midwest of America, you're looking at what's known or referred to as the Bible Belt of the country, right? So this is very interesting. What are the true connections, though? What is the actual connection? The doubt card came over the top of the health card. The health card was from the bottom of the deck, out of alignment as well. The doubt card, I release the need to know all the answers. This to me also suggests some sort of, something is being viewed as a sickness. I think it's a mindset and a mentality that's trying to be shifted out of these areas. Let's go back over to these cards though. Just got to pick up that one that I dropped. Knocking people off their horses. Right. People are being pushed into alignment. But alignment of what? The Pride card says, I love myself and I see myself in everyone. These areas have very, very, as I was saying to you earlier, very kind of strict mentalities. And what I mean by strict mentalities is, I know the Midwest is very, you know, there's a phrase that comes out of the Midwest, bless your heart, you know, and in Southeast Queensland it's very much the same. It's a bit of a bubble. Once you step into this bubble, it feels like you're in a new kind of place, a new land with new mindsets, new mentalities, and it is very much a bubble of, so this has got to do with getting people out of their bubble. This has got to do with getting two particular groups of people out of their bubble. Interesting. And then, of course, I pulled the purpose card. I know what I'm here to do, right? This was targeted. This was very targeted. Discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to, right? So they're setting out to accomplish a certain goal. Setting out to accomplish a certain goal. Setting out to accomplish these storms. What for? Fear. The fear card says, I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Is there a suggestion that there's not enough love in these areas? Perseverance. The perseverance card says, I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. This is about control. Ooh. Let's go back to the fear card for a second here. Oh, whoa. Do you know what's really interesting about these two regions of the world? Do you want to know what's really interesting? These are two places that really had a strong opposition to COVID-19. They had a strong opposition to COVID-19. They had a strong... That's why the health card came out. That's why the health card came out of alignment. From the bottom of the deck. These places had a strong opposition to COVID-19. Here's the connection. The Midwest and Southeast Queensland, Northern New South Wales had a very strong opposition to vaccinations against COVID-19. Very interesting, that, isn't it? Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. What's the next question I want to ask? Were these controlled? Loneliness, out of alignment. I know that I am never alone. Yeah, they're connected. They're connected. They're connected. These two events are connected. Was it designed out of malice? Courage, okay? It's designed to put people back in their place. The courage card says, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. It's designed to add confusion. It's designed to make people look over here whilst there's something going on over here. Has this got to do with US-Australia relations? Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. I know that I can. The regret card, out of alignment. People are very strong in their resolve. People are very strong in their resolve in these two different regions. I know that I cannot change the past. Are people in these areas being targeted? That would be a yes. Change. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. This came up for Cyclone Alfred too, in the reading I did for Alfred. The change card in alignment. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. This is designed to get people moving along. There's too many people in one concentrated area. Oh, wow. There's that knee pain again. I don't know where this has been coming from, this knee pain. It's been coming during readings and during certain points of certain discussions, and those certain points and certain discussions are all about movement and moving forward. And it's the right knee too. Very interesting. Acceptance, out of alignment, right. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. People are fighters in these areas, and I think they don't want them to be. Envy, right. I'm the same as everybody, but with different challenges. People not wanting to accept that people in these areas, both Southeast Queensland and the Midwest of America, have strong opinions and aren't willing to back down. How many have I done? I think I've done more than 9. Let's go from the bottom of the deck. What else don't we see coming? Blame, out of alignment, right. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Because, of course, weather manipulation doesn't exist, does it? HARP doesn't exist, does it? Weather modification has definitely not been around since the 1960s or earlier. You can definitely not look up weather modification in encyclopedias. There is definitely not a weather modification museum in Thailand. Definitely not. Definitely not. There is definitely nothing man-made about these events. Algorithm? Are you listening, algorithm? You listening to me, algorithm? There is definitely not anything to do with the government. Definitely nothing to do with the government. Definitely not. What else don't we see coming? Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of my life, right? Because when there's fear, right, and when there is high emotional stakes, people find it generally very difficult to tap into their intuition and to be able to control that aspect of self, to be able to garner clear directions or clear understandings of what may or may not be happening. And there's definitely no weather modification. Definitely no weather modification. Definitely no weather modification. Definitely not. What else don't we see coming? See? That's let's not use our imaginations now. The imagination card, out of alignment. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. I'm really curious. I'm going to have to do some research now as to what else is, what are some of the correlations between these two areas of the world. There's some more correlations that people just aren't aware of, people aren't seeing, because there's something that was done in Southeast Queensland that's now occurring in Midwest America, right? I've already found some correlations just by sitting here, right, and thinking about it. For example, COVID-19 vaccinations and strong oppositions to such things. Are these regions being changed into something else? Definitely not. The trust card says, I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Right. People are trying to make it. There's a high level of gaslighting going on here. There's a 78% chance that we're already being gaslit. Yes, that was a crossover from Mean Girls quote. But there is a high chance of gaslighting here. The weather report's in and we're being gaslit. Are there future projects in these regions around the corner? Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. I wonder what's happening in Midwest America. If anybody knows anyone from America, can you tag them down below? Any Americans? America, where are ya? Come to this algorithm. I need to know what is going on in the Midwest. What is some of the local news out of the Midwest? What is happening in the Midwest that is being targeted? Something in Southeast Queensland is being targeted. Something in the Midwest is being targeted. Apart from the people, right? Right. Unforgiving. The forgiveness card out of alignment. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. As in, this was a very much, we're just going to do this. We're doing it, and it's going to get done. Death. In alignment. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. What was I just saying? These are targeted areas for one reason or another. Alright, let's go to our Saints and Angel card. First card from the Saints and Angels. Be brave. Right. Because there is something coming. There is definitely something coming in these regions. There is definitely something coming in these regions. And these events were just precursors to what's on its way around the corner. Under the Be Brave card, I've also put the Om card, Find Your Voice. Listen to the wisdom of the universe. And if you know anyone in Southeast Queensland, tag them as well. The sacred mantra Om is the primordial sound, the beginning of all creation. If you've been to a yoga class, you've likely chanted Om, but have you ever wondered exactly how or why? For the how, try sounding it out as A-U-M, Om, with the emphasis R-U-M, A-U-M. Finishing your M is the tricky part, as it is from here that you transition into the infinite stillness and can tune into the wisdom of the universe. The sound of the mantra Om vibrates at the frequency 432 Hz, the universal frequency, which is thought to contain healing and spiritual properties. This is deeply relaxing, slowing down the nervous system and quietening the mind. And that's the why. So people need to go into stillness, into meditation, into self, right? To find out and discover more about what's going on here. The next card from the Saints and Angel deck I pulled was the Heaven is Watching Over You, right? And that's the Guardian Angel card. Very fascinating. So this is definitely, that to me also speaks on the fact that these aren't just definitely not man-made storms, right? They're also part natural, and I've had that discussion with some other intuitives in the community as well. These were manipulated events, right? So they started as part natural and they've been manipulated. Over the top of the Heaven is Watching Over You from the Spirit Warrior deck is the Reiki card. On the front it says, healing requires faith. Be open to new ideas. I just keep seeing a railroad in my head. I don't know why I'm seeing this, but I keep seeing, while I'm talking this whole time, like a train track. a railroad, and it's like there's a new operational something being created in both of these areas. I'm gonna do some research. Don't try to prove, feel, experience, and believe. Reiki is a spiritual practice and a healing art during which universal energy, or chi, is channeled around the body through the process of laying on hands. Improving the flow of energy enables relaxation, reduces pain, and promotes healing. Consciously deciding to heal is a part of the process, and Reiki won't work without it. There's a mystery surrounding this healing modality. When a person places their hands mindfully with the detachment on another person, it evokes deep healing response, which restores balance, brings us home to ourselves, and enhances self-awareness. No one can really say why. It doesn't matter. So this and the Reiki card came in the same spot together, which to me is all about self-healing, right? And making sure that we stay in alignment rather than playing into fears, playing into the disposition of destruction and all that comes along with heavy, storms and all the tornadoes and Ex-Cyclone Alfred. The next card from this Saints and Angel deck is the Generosity card, St. Nicholas of Myra, i.e. the original Santa Claus, and the Lemon card from the Spirit Warrior deck. The Lemon card says on the front of it, bright, joyful, and useful. Celebrate the little things. Lemon. The color of happiness and the smell of joy combine in this simple but versatile lemon. But is it that simple? Lemons are multitaskers, providing delicious and nutritious food with antioxidant properties, effective cleaning, disinfecting, and deodorizing products, and the basis for soothing and aromatic oils. On a deeper level, the spiraled peel symbolizes the shedding of the material skin to reveal the softer pulp of the inner world. Lemons have a long association with spells and rituals too. Cut one into quarters, sprinkle it with salt, reassemble and leave it on your front door, and you'll be protected from any potential negative energy that a stranger may unwittingly bring. Interesting. These storms, so Southeast Queensland and also Midwest America, are being designed and are being used, and I spoke about this in my Ex-Cyclone Alfred and Cyclone Alfred readings, to bring in some new level of consciousness, some new level of awareness into these regions of the world. Very targeted, very specific. That's very interesting. From the bottom of the deck, what don't we see coming from the Saint and Angel cards? Pause. Right? Interesting. And look, she's looking away. She's like, no, I don't want to see this. Pause. And what's interesting about the pause card over the top of that from the Spirit Warrior deck is the cacao card. And it says, nurture yourself. On the front of the cacao card, a cup of heartwarming goodness. This traditional Mayan plant medicine has magical powers, not just the capacity to transform into cacao beans, butter, ultimately chocolate. No, the powers of high-grade ceremonial cacao speak to the heart. Cacao radiates with the vibes of loving kindness, stimulating the heart chakra, and helping to develop self-love through acceptance and awareness. The spirit of cacao activates fire, burning off old negative energies and creating space for the new. It offers an embrace for the soul, guiding us gently away from our thoughts and back to our feeling bodies. Create your own beverages or seek out shaman-led cacao ceremony. Now, what's interesting about this is, again, I'm just going to grab some incense. What's interesting about this is these videos have been very much designed these events have been very much in one way, shape or form designed to get people moving forward for something, get people moving forward to do with their consciousness. It's about raising consciousness, but people need to not play into the fear of everything so drastically. I don't think it's entirely designed to wear people down. I don't think that's it at all. It's more designed for consciousness raising purposes. So people were stuck in a certain modality or a way of life or way of thinking or way of being. And these events are designed to move people forward where they may have been too stubborn previously. So just to close this, I may do another reading on this at some stage. We'll see. I'm very intuitive led by these. But just to close this, I'm going to light some blessing incense and send unconditional love surrounding Southeast Queensland and also the Midwest America, and ask that spirit and higher levels of consciousness come to these areas and promote growth and connectivity within people. Bring people together, help people see what is true, help people raise their frequency, help people come back to a space of unconditional love as opposed to fear and lower vibrational energies. Help people not be distracted away from what they need to see. Right. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. That was just a very quick and brief reading on the potential connectivity for these two events. And I think these events are definitely not man-made. Definitely not man-made for the algorithm. Definitely not. You picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah? Because after I did my Cyclone Alfred videos, I was being stalked by the government. So definitely nothing to do with weather modification machines, and definitely nothing to do with, here, let's pull from the top of this deck. I'm just going to give it a reshuffle. I want to ask some more questions before we close out, to be honest. Does this have anything to do with geopolitical, is this of a geopolitical basis or is this of a spiritual basis? Is this of a geopolitical basis or is this a spiritual basis? Is this of a geopolitical basis or is this of a spiritual basis? Geopolitical basis or is this of a spiritual basis? Is this a geopolitical basis or is this a spiritual basis? Self-esteem, interesting. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. This is geopolitical. What don't we see coming? Love. Okay. Spiritual. There's bit of box A and a bit of box B. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. Right, okay. No, I'm going to go with it's a spiritual basis. Self-esteem card says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. The failure card says, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. This is shifting people. And this is about shifting people. Adversity and shifting people spiritually, mentally, emotionally out of a space where they were too stubborn. Adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. And what don't we see coming from the bottom? The love card in alignment. I commit to the practice of seeing the good in all things. Doubt. Right. I release the need to know all the answers. People are being too controlling in these areas. Perseverance. Right. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Right. Right. I've got a bit of an idea and an understanding. I'm going to come back and look at this at another stage with some more targeted and pointed questions. Again, if you know anyone in these areas, whether it's Midwest or America in general, or in Southeast Queensland, tag them in this video, get this video shared across, make sure you react. This will go up on YouTube. Facebook is now deleting videos after 30 days, so I will be sure to put this up among other videos on the YouTube channel. So go on over there, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever we drop a new video there. Ciao for now.